time sensitive. Now, if you want to stick around, let's ask Wes some questions that I cannot answer, and we'll go from there. First of all, Wes, what's your footy team that you support over there?
Football team, Arsenal. That's
Arsenal.
I'm not going to annoy too many people. Arsenal's my go-to.
All right.
What about you? Who you support, Rob?
It's all football over here. I guess the Packers just lost today, so that's about it. We don't really care about soccer.
Yeah. Didn't you get Messi? Messi came over?
Yeah. I think he came into because I think he plays for Miami.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. Everybody loves Messi. Tom Crown says, "Wow, his channel's only like a year old. He's got 10,000 subs. That's pretty good, especially in a crappy bear market. That's impressive." Last year.
Crown. Yeah, we grew really fast. We have grown really fast. It's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, let's see. And then Hajami says, "F the ETFs. Bitcoin never needed Wall Street. We all knew this, but you all got hyped. The influencers, ETFs in Canada didn't do anything to Bitcoin price." And you know what? Hajami's absolutely correct. For those ETFs in Canada, they didn't do anything. And even if you take a look at like the history of ETFs, I'll show you right here. You can see that, first of all, the futures ETF, I remember this, when this came out, this was on December 17th, that marked essentially the tippy top of Bitcoin for that cycle. It was at 19.6. CBOE futures came in and crashed the market. And then if we can take a look moving forward, of course, ProShares Bitcoin Futures ETF, Van Eck Bitcoin Futures ETF, and of course there was one on here from Valkyrie Bitcoin Futures ETF. Those are in 2021. It pretty much marked the top and just kind of collapsed everything. It's just like these ETFs just have really crappy timing.
I got sucked into the. I was looking at the gold ETF and the run we had. Because it was spot, right? Futures and spot, two very different things. And I kind of got sucked into the BlackRock. They're on the news channel saying it's the new digital gold, and I thought we was going to see a bit of a pump. I didn't think we was going to rock it up to 60, 70K, but I thought we was at least going to push 50, 55K. I don't think anyone expected Grayscale to be selling $500 million worth every single day. And the last time I checked, they were still selling $500 million worth every day. They have I think they've got $22 billion worth left. Yeah. So there's been massive sell pressure. I think Fidelity and BlackRock did buy over $1 billion worth, but the sell pressure is just too much at the moment.
Yeah, it's too much right now. And between us, it's just us and 1,200 people. I personally feel like I never have accumulated enough, ever. So like when I see these prices go down, in my back of mind, I'm like, oh, thank God. Because now I can keep buying a little bit. I know some people, like if they're gonna go long, it's not the greatest thing of all time. But I know even on your channel, on the last video you did, which is a great video, matter of fact, is you talked about, you're like, hey, you know what? I thought it was gonna be a buy the news event. I wasn't, but this is the time to sit back and start to accumulate. And you just pivoted perfectly. I think that's a way to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't swing trade my long trades, right? So I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. I've not sold it, since we brought it coming out of the bear market. Projects like Render, I'm super bullish on Render, and if the market dumps and pumps, I just hold on to it. Casper, we've been holding Casper since 2022. I'm not selling it. I'm not dumping it. I've taken out my initials out of all my long-term holds. Yeah. So Render's one of my favorites, but the high risks I do swing trade. I try to make, like Olas, I made 500% in 2 months. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So I'm taking the profits, and then I reallocate them into low risks. When the market has a pullback, maybe I'll buy some more Render, maybe I'll buy some Casper, a bit more Bitcoin, Ethereum. And if I make 5x on Olas, why not put it into Render and then try and turn that into another 5x on there, or a 10x, and you're up 50x, aren't you? Just on a lower risk play.
See, that's right there, gold, everybody. So when you're taking a look at what should I do for these things? Like, you got to understand, like these low cap gems, these are not like I'm going to keep in there and just ride all the way to the top. Take them out, put them into something that's a mighty higher cap and a lot less risk, and kind of go from there. And I will remind everybody says that, Bitcoin is not risky. Even Bitcoin's risky. If you want to do something that's less risk, have fun with a savings account at 0.02% interest annually, but that's just how it goes. So just be aware out there.
Yeah, I think if you held like $100,000 in cash for 15 years, it's now worth about 60,000. So you're still down like 40% over the last 15 years or so against fiat. It's crazy.
Dude, there is this site. There is this great site. It's priced in Bitcoin. And actually, it was Sam, my financial friend, showed me to me. And it was like, you can just take a look. Like, I always like to take a look at housing because everything's priced in Bitcoin. So the United States median new house. Actually, you know what? Let me see something. Let's go to housing. Let's go to UK average house. And let's go for 5 years. And let's put it at just straight up Bitcoin and compare it to fiat. Holy smokes. So wow. Like, damn it. You guys had expensive houses too. 233,000. This was back in 2019. And of course, at that point, it would take 56 Bitcoins to pay for that house. But then right around here, and this is kind of like that inflection point for everything, November 30th, 2020, where it just kind of flipped. The price of a house kept going up, as they always do, because we lose our purchasing power. And you know, at this point, geez, you guys, your average median prices are 281,000 for a house, but now it only takes you 6 Bitcoin to buy that same house. Unbelievable. Wow. And you can go, and everybody, again, it's priced in bitcoin21.com. I'll link in the description, but you can go for everything. You can go for crude oil. You can do S&P 500, gold, silver, beef, eggs. Eggs, for some reason, is the only one that does well. I don't know why. Live cattle, copper, Dow Jones. And it's a pretty great, because you can just, when people say like, what's the whole point of Bitcoin? Well, it protects your purchasing power. And we can see that very clearly right there. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Let's see. Army Piper. Texas is one of the 17 states that does property tax exemption for 100%. I think this is for disabled active veterans, and this is true. So if you're an Army vet and you're disabled, you don't have to pay any taxes on your property. I wonder how that works when you shift it over to your kids and stuff like that, which is what I'm going to get to do soon because I'm old. That's how it goes. All right. Let's see. Fiat route. When Mullet, who is a trader in Florida, or maybe he's back in Chicago, I'm not for sure. He says he's never selling its Pepe. It's the new world reserve currency, don't you know? I have to disagree. I mean, it could have been, but who knows? Arsenal is the best football team. That's kind of biased. Hey. Scott's got a good point. All these ETFs in Canada, they were good, but they didn't have BlackRock shilling it. I think that's where we kind of got sucked into it. And I think you talked about that, Liz, about.
Yeah, well, I mean, they manage like 12 trillion in assets, but they are going to be a market manipulator, right? But the way I was looking at it is they have a lot of investors that are invested in BlackRock, and they're talking to their investors. They're talking to the smart money, right? And they're saying, we're buying Bitcoin. We think it's going to be, revolutionize the financial space. And I don't think it's going to be it's not a 2 or 3 year play for BlackRock. I think they're looking at this, for the long term. I think this is going to be 10 plus years that they're accumulating and loading up.
Dude, can you imagine 10 plus years of them accumulating? I mean, where does that put us?
I don't know, because BlackRock are pushing like 12 trillion assets, 12 trillion in asset management. I mean, just like even 1 to 5% of that would be insane. Then you've got Fidelity, ARK Invest. There's so much money there. There is so much institutional money, and a lot of it's been retail, right? A lot of it's over the years. A lot of it's been retail, and now we're starting to see. I mean, we're going to see financial advisors that are going to be allowed to promote Bitcoin to the average farmer, to the average builder. We're going to see Bitcoin adverts on the Mega Bowl, right? I think the retail FOMO we're going to see as the institutional adverts roll out. The Coinbase adverts had me going, and I'm a crypto maxi, and I was like, yeah, they are taking our money, and I was getting angry. So I think that whole movement thing, it's not just a buy crypto, get rich. It's a whole, don't let the system rob you. That we're being charged more for our rent. Our cost of living's going up. We have to work 2 jobs. We have to hustle just to get by. Why not create our own new system? And I think that's where we're going to get a lot of people come on board.
Yeah, well said. And you know what? That's a thing. Is that everybody right now, if you're watching this stream, congratulations, you front ran the largest institutions on the planet.
Yeah.
I don't know if you realize how important that is or how hard that is to do, but they're the ones that are sitting on the sidelines where you were the ones that were actually dollar cost averaging and purchasing these cryptos and these digital assets, most specifically Bitcoin, because they want that from you. And just like Wes talked about, it's important that you actually maintain your purchasing power because everything else is sliding down. We just took a look at it. Again, look at that website, priceinbitcoin21.com. You can see exactly how bad it is. So, Wes, yeah, well said. Jeez Louise. Here's a good one. This is about Roth IRAs. So if you have money locked into an IRA, you don't think it's a wise investment to invest into a Bitcoin ETF because you can't self-custody. This is a great question because I don't know, Wes, what you guys have for retirement accounts over there. My audience skews a little bit older, so they're actually asking about these things. Here we have what's called a Roth IRA, and you have different versions of that, but essentially it's What do you guys have over there for your retirement accounts?
We have it's kind of like a forced pension. They take X amount of your wages, and it goes into a pension that you get when you retire. But I'm not a massive fan of that, as we talked about with the cash depreciation. Is it going to be worth much in 30 years? Who knows? Exactly.
That we have something like that. It's called Social Security, which somebody laid out a pretty good case. They said, if you're taking X percentage, 2 to 3% or whatever it is from my account over 30 years, and then of course it takes 30 years for me to get that back. If I would have taken the same amount of money that you guys took from my Social Security and put it into just a standard S&P 500, it would have been a nice 7 to 9% return. But the return that you're giving me is 0.3%. So that of course is the government Social Security stuff. These IRAs, these are something that you do with a company, and you can take it's either post or pre-taxes. You can purchase stocks, you can purchase cryptos. And what I personally use is the iTrust. And you can, when you take out or when you sell your crypto, if you ever do, it's tax free. So like with us, like I've got a Roth IRA, this is an iTrust, and I've purchased pretty much nothing but Bitcoin and Ethereum in there. So when I turn 59 and a half, which isn't long, it's coming up, when I take that out, I don't have to pay any capital gains whatsoever. That's the beauty of it. Now the question then is, well, Rob, you've got these rules up, which is, not your keys, not your crypto, which is very true. Can I custody that and use an IRA? No, you can't. And this is one of the exclusions. There's rules out there, and there's different things that we have to look at to make sure that, there's like little nuances. And this is one of those things. And the reason why I say this is because even Swan Bitcoin, Kimlinger is like a super maxi. And he even says that for our Roth IRAs that we do, you can't custody that. It has to be custodied by a third party. And this is why. There was a case, McNulty versus Commissioner. And imagine this. Somebody tells you that you can self-custody your gold. You do that for 20, 30 years, and it appreciates massively. And then when you go to sell it, they go, no, now you have to pay the capital gains tax. Like, no, well, someone told me I can custody it in my IRA. No, you can't do that. McNulty versus Commissioner ruled that although an IRA can purchase certain types of precious metals, those metals must always be in the physical possession of a trustee or custodian. Thus, when Ms. McNulty, as the manager of Green Hill, which is her own IRA-owned LLC, took physical possession of the American Eagle coins, she was deemed to take a taxable distribution of the value of the coins. Because Ms. McNulty did not acknowledge this taxable distribution on her personal tax return, she was subject to additional penalties. Sorry, that's pretty shitty. But this is why, for these IRAs, it's a very small percentage, and I only allocate because you can only do so much per year. And as a reminder, you have until April 15th. So check that out. It's a great question. It's a lot of nuances. So sorry, that was a little bit rambly. Mark,
yeah, we have a stocks ISA where you're able to invest 20,000 a year into stocks, and you don't pay any tax, no capital gains tax on anything you make on top of that. But we don't have it for crypto, and it's been asked a few times. And if the UK have said that they want to be like one of the financial hubs of the world for blockchain technology, so we might see that integrated, and that would be great. That would be great.
That would be great. Wow, 20%. You know what? In Germany, they have it to where whatever you buy, if you hold it after a year, there's no capital gains.
Yeah, great strategy.
Yeah, no kidding. Speaking of which, the Shaolin says, Rob, I diamond hand for the same reason I DCA. I don't know the top or bottom or know if Bitcoin will turn to low numbers. However, after 8 years, my diamond handing loser battle cry is working just fine. If you can, but this is it, Shaolin. Remember, I said for most cryptos, this is not a good strategy. And I will tell you this. Let's do this. There's a great website. CoinMarketCap.com/historical. Let me pull this up. Bitcoin is a different, and that's why like I don't have problems for having 70% of that in my portfolio. I think that's one that's going to make it. But let's see. Let's go back to 2016. Let's go. That's roughly 8 years or so. Let's take January, I don't know, 17th. Look at these top 10s. Bitcoin XRP. If you would hold XRP 0.005, you would up pretty well. Litecoin. What's Litecoin worth today? Let's see. You're probably up big time. This is one of Tom Crown's favorite plays. $70. Look at that. $3, $90. Yeah, not bad. Ethereum over 2,000. Dash, I have no idea what that is.
Dash has disappeared off the radar, I think.
Yeah, I think it's probably still in the top 200.
It's $28 now. It's $28.
See, there you go. So $5, $20. But can you imagine $5, $20? But again, most cryptos. Purecoin doesn't. Factom, Stellar, okay. Emmercoin, BitShares, NXT, MadeSafeCoin, Bytecoin, YBCoin, Namecoin, Monero. All right, you got me. Gridcoin, Nem, I'm not for sure. Tether is Tether. Nobody cares. Clams, Counterparty. Sorry, but you see where I'm going with this. Shaolin, you are exactly correct. But I'm just saying for most of these projects, if you diamond hand yourself to death, it's going to be very bad. Although I will say, I would like to see something. You guys go into the Cryptoverse, but I'm going to show you. But there's a DCA strategy. It's free when you sign up. Let's say Shaolin put $1,000 into Bitcoin on 2016, January 21st, and he held it. That's how much he'd have right there. That's amazing.
Wow.
102,000. But you know what he would have had if he would have sold at the top? 164,000. You can't do that in S&P 500. That's crazy.
No. I think there's a famous saying called shiny new coin syndrome, and what you have is a lot of people. When we go into this bull run 2024, 2025, we're going to see a lot of tokens like maybe Casper, Render taking off, and then we're going to see the money that sits around in Cardano or XRP or some coin that's going sideways. They start to ape into the pumps, right? They chase the green and they sell the red. And that's why I try to always stick to the new tech. And then the tech evolves evolves as well. So I stick to the projects with the new tech and the ones that are building. Yeah.
The ones that building. Well, I guess that would be a good segue for this one. From Mike, he says, I got a hard time buying. I hesitate thinking it will go lower to get a better entry. I don't buy, then it pumps. I regret not buying. I wait again. How do you circumvent that, Wes?
On-chain data. I like to look at on-chain data. So a lot of the smart money are pretty good at DCAing. If you look at OLAS, they all waited until it hit about $4 and they started buying again, and then it kind of found a floor. So I do monitor the on-chain data. I know not everyone can do that. There is a free website called Arkham, which is completely free, where you can monitor on-chain data, so you don't have to pay for Nansen. So I look at the on-chain data, and then I also look at the technicals. So I have my trading bot that I use that helps me find buy and sell signals. I think I've shown that to you before. I don't know if I can get it on here, but I use the trading bot that sort of helps me get buy signals. And then DCA, right? I dollar cost average. So I don't just go all in. If I have a 5K bag that I want to invest into something, I'll just put 1K in. As it goes down, and just get your average price. No one can predict the bottom. No one can predict the top, but we do have pretty good tools that help us find a rough idea of where to buy it.
Awesome. I like that. Guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the comment section. It's arkhamintelligence.com if you want to take a look at that for sure. And then Tony's got a good question. Once you sell, where do you store your profits? Short-term, long-term, stables?
Yeah, so USDC. I go into USDC in a bull run. So I store my profits in USDC. I split it a little bit into USDT. The depeg scared me. The depeg the USDC depegged, and I saw smart money was selling their USDC. Some people with millions of dollars took a 200,000 loss on USDC. And that really scared me because I just seen Luna collapse as well, right?
Luna.
I was like, what do I do now? And technically it was the right thing to do, right? Because your USDC, you don't know what's going on. You see it collapsing. You just think Luna collapsed. So it might sound crazy, but taking a 200K loss was actually the right decision. And then the rest who took a leap of faith, some even longed it, ended up making their money back. But it does scare me. So I try to diversify Bitcoin, USDT, and USDC. If you're in a bull run and you're expecting Bitcoin to hit all-time high, to me, it's better than holding it in Bitcoin than it is USDC, really, because you're at least looking at a 1x from where we are right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, just take it into stables. And I will just say this, like in the old days, like when I was growing up, my parents would tell me, all you got to do is just put your money in a savings account, work at a good company, get a pension, retire, live your life, which is like the worst advice ever, because they couldn't see it happening. They couldn't see what was coming. So now we know that's not going to happen. So I think for everybody that's out there, when you start investing and getting into assets, whether that be commodities, whether that be precious metals, whether that be equities, whether that be real estate, or of course, digital assets. I think when you're into there and doing these things, you probably will never stop, because the purchasing power of any fiat currency usually goes down, and it has problems over time. Now, the US dollar has been pretty good for so much time, but I don't know what the Dixie is today. Hopefully it's a little bit stronger. But again, I think when you get into this game, it's like you're going to come in, but you're not going to get out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. This is interesting. This would be, I knew a retired pensioner, and it was cheaper for him to spend 6 months in Thailand than spend money heating his home in the UK. I know. Wow. Guy over at Coin Bureau was talking about this on our last, he was saying like how high the prices were.
It's crazy. It's crazy. There's I think, I can't remember what the stats are, but I think at least 40 to 50% of people were struggling to pay their heating bill this Christmas, which is sick, really. I was in a shopping market the other day, and this kid was talking to another kid, and they both worked full-time jobs. And he said, are you going to watch that new film at the cinema? And he said, oh, I don't think me and my girlfriend can afford it this month, but hopefully we can next month. And they were working full-time hours, and they couldn't afford to go and watch a film, because that's how much the cost of living is hitting us at the moment. So I've been doing 2 jobs or side hustles. During the bear market, I worked 2 jobs all the way through just so I could buy crypto, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have been able to buy crypto. And now we're up 10, 20x, and it's been a great decision, but it's not easy. It's not easy right now, and you do have to kind of put the work in if you want to try and escape.
That is amazing. Whew. All right, everybody. I think that's a great story to leave it right there. So again, if you're looking for someone to follow and get some really good insights, and especially what's going on, you can follow Wes. His links are in the description. He's got a YouTube and X account. But Wes, thanks for coming on for the first time. We'll definitely have you back, buddy.
Cheers, Rob. Appreciate that. Have a good day, everyone.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much again. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one, everybody. Adios.